Michelle, before we get started, would you like to go over this truth in taxation, the changes, or? So that's a no?
I didn't print out the ones that I know that has changed, but I passed this out to everybody.
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah, it's just, we have, everything's changed, the laws have changed on, truth in taxation. So just the name changed on your effective rate, your rollback rate. Now there's a diminished rate. And then according to what your diminished rate, we did make a phone call. It's
Speak over here at the microphone so everybody can hear you, if you would. Thank you.
That's what I was trying to say. We have, your effective rate and rollback has got different names on them now. So they just have different titles to them. There is a diminished rate now. It's a new tax. And we are, I think, around 2 cents extra on that. Just looking, if I remember right off the top of my head. And we did check into that. Your diminished rate, if it's above your voter approved rate, then you can apply that. That gives you a little bit more leniency because if you remember right, we've gone from the 8%, drop it down to 3.5% for the voters' roll. So that kind of makes up that little difference there. The diminished rate does. And then according to what you adopted this year will affect you and start building your encumbered rate. And that's another new tax rate that's come into play. You have 2 new tax rates that are to play with now. And I had a sheet that has all that explained on it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Before we get started, there's a couple of things that I wanted to say. First of all, I was with the Goliad superintendent a couple of days ago, and Friday, I guess. He said they were anticipating a 10% shortfall on tax collections this year because there are just going to be some people that can't pay their taxes because they haven't been working. So that's something we need to keep in mind when we're formulating this budget. I talked to a judge just a little south of us the other day, and they're anticipating a 15 to 20% shortfall, and they're budgeting for it. So hopefully we won't be hit that hard. I guess it depends on where your county lies in relation to the oil patch and other things, but that's something we need to keep in mind also. The outside auditor reminded us several times that we need to have our reserve fund in the 40% area. And we're below that now. So we need to look at trying to build back in our cash reserves for the outside auditor. Last year, we were able to accomplish a balanced budget, and it's my goal to try to do that again this year with no tax hikes. Some of the things that we're looking at this year, I don't have a crystal ball, but we do have 3 murder cases on the table that are going to be very expensive if they go to the full length. I don't know if they're going to be capital or not. I think that was up in the air the last time I talked to the district attorney. These funds in our general fund reserves, it's not a slush fund. It's reserves to be used for emergencies to get us through tough times like I discussed. So that's one other thing, and I guess we'll get started. Before we begin, start with you, Commissioner Everett. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we crank up?
No.
Mr. Morales?
Not at this time, sir.
Mr. White?
Sure, I do.
As y'all know, every department has a budget. The only difference in the precinct budgets and everybody else's, we have a special road and bridge tax. And we have a chunk of money in the special road and bridge tax. It cannot go back into the general fund. It's what we hope that we can get from the special tax. It can't commingle with the general fund. So what I have done with my budget, just for everybody to understand it, is I took every penny that I could spend of that special money and built my budget. Because the outside auditor told us we need to build a cushion for emergencies, and we don't have that. So I've taken pretty much every penny other than about $20,000 or $6,000, I'm not exactly sure, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I built my budget out of the special. I built everything that can be used for road repair, which is what that money is designed for, and built my budget for road work. So that I wouldn't have to take your ad valorem money to build my budget on when we need to build a cushion for safety. And that special road and bridge money can't be used for that. It can only be used for road work. So that's what I've done with my budget. I want everybody to be understanding of that. I don't know what the rest of them's gonna do, but that's the way we should do it, because that's what the auditor told us we need to do to get our cushion of 40%, so we can have a cushion just in case a hurricane hits, tornado hits, earthquake hits, as far as that goes, who knows? But we gotta be prepared for it. And I just want y'all to understand where I'm coming from.
Commissioner Bruins, do you have anything you'd like to say?
No, this time.
All right. We had a significant increase in values this year. I think it's the first time that Goliad's ever been over $1 billion in worth in its existence. We're looking at $7,166,000 and some change on our ad valorem taxes, which is fairly significant. On the downside of that, we're really taking a beating on our fees that we collect. This courtroom is normally busy, and we're way behind on our district court fees, and I suppose county court to an extent. So although we've had an increase in one area, some of our fee-based stuff is not working out so well. So another thing to keep in mind. I guess we'll begin by, start with mine. I'm on the front. So County Judge's Office. Anyone have any questions about that? I took, I guess this affects you more than anyone else, Commissioner Edwards. I looked at getting the yard mowed at the hospital as well. I think the yard looks really great around the courthouse here. So we're gonna just contract that out of buildings and yards, and it'll save Commissioner Edwards or whoever from having to come and take care of it. Anyone have any questions about my budget?
That other additional mowing would come out of buildings and yards annexes?
Yeah, I think it's,
There's a line item in there.
there's a line on it. It's about $11,000.
Okay.
All right.
I got a question on your conference and dues. You went from, you got $7,000 on it for the next year, and last year, you've only used 69%. You can't hear me either?
But I don't hear very well.
Well, I don't either.
Okay.
I just wondered, on your conference and dues, you went up to 7,000 on it from 6. I don't know, given the year of the way it's been, do you think you anticipate more conferences, or?
I anticipate going to some more training. We couldn't go this year, as you're well aware. And, there's been laws changed that I need to be abreast of. And hopefully TAC will reimburse us, and I won't spend a dime of that. They did some last year. Anyone else?
What's the extra help? That's
Sorry?
help. Is that part-time help? What is that?
If we need someone to come in to do some filing or help us with one of the great duties that the county judge has is keeping up with septic tank permits in the county. And sometimes there's a need to have some filing done. Most of the time we hire someone that's doing community service come in and help us. But if we need to change light bulbs or whatever, garden work, yard work, dirt work, whatever it takes.
First time I've seen extra. I mean, it's usually part-time, but, okay. All right. Thank you.
County and district clerk. Anyone?
Yeah.
My boss has been gone, I don't know.
What about,
Was there any changes on that?
We moved that election administrator to elections.
Okay.
we were 65?
I believe, we're hiring an elections administrator. We've been warned several times that if you're leaving yourself open for a lawsuit if you don't have an elections administrator, so we've had one budgeted,
Yeah, that's,
ready to move forward on that. They may have already hired one, I'm not sure.
Possibly,
Awesome.
possibly.
Okay. We got one in line, isn't
Yeah.
it? Okay.
went up 2,001.
Veteran Services, Joanne did not need any changes. Non-departmental, any questions there?
That stray cattle, that jumped from, well, it was 12,000 last year. You only used, 1,300 of it.
Right. You never know when cows are gonna get out.
They're always out.
They're always out. So
Kirby, they're always out. What's the difference in the expense, Kirby, on, you haven't spent a whole lot, what is the reason?
If I'm not mistaken, the Commissioners Court sets the rate, the pay rate for the county cowboy to catch things, and, whatever it is what we pay them. Whatever the going rate is on daily feed and also on the catching. So,
But you haven't.
we've been fortunate enough lately to be able to run the cows back in, and we're trying to give those owners citations because their cattle are out all the time. But, we can't, once the cow's back in the pasture, we're not sending the cowboy in to get that cow. If we have a difficult time, if an owner calls us, if a landowner calls us and says they're not his cows and he can pin them, we'll send somebody out there to catch, to load them up and take them to the auction barn. And, we gotta pay the auction barn. We found that it's better to feed at the auction barn, so we don't have to have two hauls in there. And the auction barn is happy to do that for us. But we have to pay it. So if the cattle brings more, then that money goes back into that fund. If it costs less, whatever. I will say that, the Commissioner's Court has set one price for all the animals. Doesn't matter if it's a goat or a chicken or an emu or a cow. The daily rate is the same, so you might want to revisit the daily rate. So, but other than that, we're just, if the cow goes back in, we don't send the cowboy out. If we can't get them.
Then we're right on target.
Calls us and says, I've got 10 head or whatever, then we have to. And if they have destroyed part of the landowner's stuff, then.
$30,000 budget.
Fix whatever it is that they tore up. If they pin them and they tear up the pins, then we as the county are required to fix it, pay to have that fixed. So you never know how much it's gonna cost or how many cows are gonna be picked up or whatever. The nice thing is, of course, we are able, when we sell an animal that's not claimed, and that money goes back in to supplement the stray fund, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you. You didn't much. Conference and dues.
I was gonna ask about that, please.
That, I don't think we've ever had that line in, 612.
I mean, who is it for?
It's for the, non-departmental.
I think we had some dues that, were kind of coming out of different budgets.
One that this year that we had split.
We had one come up earlier this year that we had to split up between everyone because it wasn't assigned. So we created a conference and dues line item 612 to cover that. And I forget, I've slept since then, but I forget what those dues were for, but it was something that none of us had a direct relationship with, but we all benefit.
Reoccurring.
It's a reoccurring
It's an annual
thing.
deal. An annual expense. It's the one that I'd originally charged to split with Road and Bridge, and y'all said no.
Yeah.
We reclassed it, and that's the same amount for this year. I can't remember who the vendor was,
Gulf Bend or something, wasn't it?
something like that. But that's what that line item is.
Okay, Justice Court,
I got a couple of questions.
Wait,
we may be a little tight on this. We've spent 29,000 thus far this year. And we've got $30,000 budgeted for next year, so depending on how many people pass away.
what is this on?
In the Justice Court, autopsy fees,
I wasn't finished with non-departmental.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Another new line you got is 620, refund and overpayments.
For the two fraudulent insurance claims that we need to reimburse TAC and FEMA for.
Okay. They're different than, we never had them before, is why I'm asking. Okay. Land, 700.
That's the
For
line.
Mr. Hill.
Go ahead.
He's not here. It's probably not time to get into it, but Mr. Hill owns half the road in front of the dump. Just right down the center of the road, he's got the deed to it. And he said, I'd like to sell my property for $7,500. And we put in a like amount for surveying to get it done. And there may be some more that need that same, another buyout at one of his neighbors.
He owns to the middle of the road?
Yes, sir.
Most people do, I think, don't they? They own they don't own the surface. The county has the easement, but they own if they own the mineral.
No, he owns to the center of the road. He can fence it.
He owns that ain't good. Okay, so that's for out at the dump?
Yeah.
Okay. Environmental fee, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
761, environmental fees. What does that entail? What do we, we've had it before, and
Transfer station?
that is a transfer station?
I would think so.
Tires.
I would think that'd be more, wouldn't it? The transfer station would be, I mean, Mickey's is what, 15, 20,000, ain't it?
It'll be, what, my budget for garbage?
Yeah, for the
Oh,
goal.
my garbage budget's gonna be 15.
Yeah,
There's a separate line item for garbage. This is for like tires.
Tires and chemicals, things of that nature.
You don't need a fee, environmental fee for trash.
and then, rural transit, you have question marks for the number.
That's just that's on the,
Well, we
The
don't
account
want to
number.
pay it, but it just depends on how the Golden Crescent, what their attitude is towards it. As you know, Ms. Wade is flush with cash.
Yeah,
It's just that they require a little audience participation from the county. So we haven't negotiated that.
They never have before, have they, or?
No, we paid it.
Yeah, we paid it.
We didn't have a line for them before.
Well, that was a problem. There was always a lack of lines.
Okay.
Now we've created lines to eliminate some of this confusion.
Okay, and then legal and other professional services.
We need to do something with the Way Company. They have yet to pay us for the first year's savings.
Okay, now, I talked to,
Well, but we haven't gotten anywhere. They're not responding.
okay,
This should have been done months ago.
right? They emailed you the contract and everything,
Yes. But we're interested in them paying money now,
right?
a yearly deal, and we can't get them to respond to us. So we're gonna have to engage them at some point in a lawsuit, I would guess. Because they're just not doing what they contracted to do.
You might have a lawsuit on the roof deal over here at the old jail also, because that guy won't respond on that roof also.
It took me forever to get him the first time, so I thought maybe you would have a better shot at reaching him. Apparently you didn't, so. All right. Does that cover it?
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right.
I may have, I knew what you was talking about because I can't hear very well. You did cover the land. That was what Mr. Hill was at the road.
Correct.
Talking about the land.
He wanted 7,500 for the land, and we put in surveying fees, and there may be an adjacent neighbor that also has the same issue. And Mr. Hill gave me it wasn't the Reader's Digest version, but here's the Reader's Digest version. He made a deal with Judge Gleinzer that the dump was going to be a temporary thing, so he just let it go. And now that it's apparent to him that it's not temporary, he's wanting to do something. So,
And that's half of the road is, he's saying that's half of the road is his, or underneath it, I mean. Okay.
that's
And
what he said.
we do need that much money in our legal and professional services.
Part of that is surveying. If you buy the land, you're gonna have it surveyed.
All right, that's on the non-departmental. Is that all the questions? All right, Justice Court. We may have cut this a little too much. There's one other thing, for whatever this is worth. Our de minimis rate is 0.777990. And if we get to 0.753529, then it triggers an automatic tax collection. So we have a grand total of about $60,000 in slop. That's not a lot of money for a budget this size, but I needed to let you know that. We have about $60,000 to play with. All right, Justice Court. The jurors' pay is in line, I believe, and the autopsy fees, we spent $29,500 thus far. If we have another autopsy between now and October 1st, we'll bust that budget. I think autopsies are around $3,000.
No, you spent $10,950 thus far.
Hmm?
You spent $10,950 year to date.
Oh, I had it at 29.
You're only at 28% on.
Oh, okay, I looked at it wrong. Okay, good. Then we're all right on that, I think. We had 40 budgeted last year. We lowered it to 30. Judicial County Court. Any questions there? All right. District Court. Okay. Justice of Peace, number 1.
Private collection fees, they, somebody,
That was previously in, non-departmental,
okay,
and this year, we're trying to put all the costs in the correct departments. Now, if you look on the revenue,
that's right, it's a.
it should be a wash. It should be a wash if,
Okay.
There's quite a difference between precinct Justice Peace number 1 and Justice Peace number 2, 2,750 versus 16,000.
Judge, on her, she had mentioned to me about increasing her office supplies line a bit. You got 1,250 listed on it. She wanted to go up to like 1,500.
You know, I look at Justice Peace number 1 and number 2. They provide the same function. They do exactly the same job. And we've got one at $1,100 and we've got one at $1,250. And that judge says that it's not enough and we need to go to 1,500. And it seems like the apples and apples, but
Well, I'm thinking maybe in the future, there may be more, the load may be better shared. Right now, she's doing a lot of the work. So she told me the same thing, that she's already getting pretty short now.
so for my part, I'd assume put that on hold unless y'all have a stringent argument about it. I mean, they do the same thing. I don't know. This makes sense to me.
Does one get more cases because of the precinct they're in? I mean, 59 probably carries more tickets than 183, I would think.
That's what I was gonna say, maybe it's a caseload on coming in, but the difference, maybe. Just caseload? So,
That's what I was thinking, trying to say too.
So what's your pleasure?
I would say let's up it to 1,500. She's already in the hole this year.
Right?
you know, one thing that I want to point out, and we're not really prepared to talk about this today, but since January the 1st of this year, we have paid close to $150,000 in admin pay. That's totally non-productive wages. Now we're buying laptops for these same officers to work from home. Where is it going to stop?
who's buying laptops first
Uh,
ever?
Both these
both JPs.
JPs,
Why are they not working then? Why are they not working?
or you bet?
Yeah.
Okay.
But my question is, why are we spending money when these officials have offices, locking doors?
Secure.
It's not like you're exposed to the public.
With vegetables. So, I mean, even if they walk in the outside door, there's still there's a vestibule there that protects them from being directly exposed. And this isn't the place to talk about it. I would like to talk about it in the future though, because it seems to me like we have one too many JP offices. That's just my opinion. So, all right, is there, other than the raising from 1,250 to 1,500, is there anything else?
What is that on?
JP1.
You're not able to hear everybody talk. We can hear you, but everybody else when they talk is, and we can't hear everybody talk.
We've got new equipment ordered and it'll be here soon. And that's all I can tell you. We're not set up to do anything better. I apologize.
That's a 501? I'm sorry. That's a 501? You're gonna move it, change it to what?
1,500 is what Commissioner Edwards suggested.
One,
One, line item 501 is at 1,250 now, and he wants to raise it to $1,500. JP 2,
They told me they were good.
elections.
Yeah, the only thing I had was a question about the election administrator, if we were gonna have one or not. I had no, what you said a while ago was the first thing I heard, that we were gonna hire another individual for that job.
First I heard today, when I saw the applicant.
Okay,
There was an amount budgeted last year.
I know that. I know.
Right, and they didn't fill the position,
Correct.
and now, she's wanting to fill the position.
Okay.
And
That's my-
keep in mind, we have the money for the employee that was paid out of, records management is now part of the general fund,
Records management is?
Right,
that employee.
yeah. If you remember, Annie was supposed to be,
Records
her
management,
salary was supposed to be coming, it was fee-based.
yeah, records management.
And come to find out that fee-based system was not working for her at all. So we are now paying her out of the general fund. So that was like taking on another person.
Mhm.
Has nothing to do with Annie, it's just the pay slot she was in.
Okay.
All right, I always thought that we could get these justice of the peace balanced. And you can't balance the retirement and longevity, but other than that, Judge Kennedy chooses not to take a telephone stipend, and we pay $600 to Judge Moore, so that means nothing. All right, we passed through elections, we're at the county auditor. Any questions there?
Just an FYI, I did add a line item for extra help when we move from Southern Software to whatever we end up getting. So that's gonna be a one-time deal. That extra help that you,
another person in the office.
just to help with the, she will, this person will help with transferring from Southern Software to the new software.
Yeah, but a full-time person.
No, this is just extra.
Thought about putting a full-time person in there with Lee.
No, I don't think the need justifies it.
And she's overworked.
That's just a matter of opinion. I think you're gonna see things, change if we get some decent software. The software that we have now, I've never seen anything like it.
Right. But, and nothing against Lee, she does a badass job, but, you know, our budget versus actual, you know, used to, when there was two people in the office, they could get us out that by the second day of the month. So, you know, toward the end of the year, that kind of helped.
Well, David, we do things a little different. When my predecessor was here, bills were paid late. We incurred interest charges. We don't do that. That's why but that's why we ask everybody to turn in their invoices, and it might take a little bit longer.
Oh, she's quick at it.
Okay, but then your complaints.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm saying that I just feel like she has so much that she's doing in there that if you had another person in there helping her, some of these other things.
I can't sit here and look everybody in the eye and say that we need to get another person. Like I said, I'd like to have the extra help to help with this transition from the old software to the new. And I just want to be transparent about it.
I'm not against that. And then these, yours and Lee's salary, is that already been set by the district judges, or is that?
Well, it's the same as last year. It's the same as last year. Mine was less. I was working part-time then.
No,
The amounts that you see on here,
I got a question on that,
Yes, sir.
and I'm sorry, I couldn't, you had your head pointed that way. I didn't hear much, so I may be asking the same thing again. I'm sorry if I do.
It's okay.
On the, I see she's got a new title, on the chief deputy auditor, we're giving her a pretty good raise. Two things. One, we tried to give the auditor's office a raise a few years ago, and the judges wouldn't allow us. We give everyone else 3%, 4%. I don't know what, I'm sorry, folks. We give everyone else a raise, and the judges said we can't give them a raise.
The district judge.
Yes, sir. That's one question. I don't know what they're gonna say about this. And two, I think before we start putting this kind of money up in raises, if we're gonna do that, we need to give everyone something. We're giving a lot of money to two people in the county. And we're not taking care of anybody else. And the workload is still there for her. All we're doing is paying her more money, but she's still got the same workload. And I think the lady's working her tail off. I get that. When I see it every day. I'm not saying anything like that. But I'm saying we might be helping her out more if we got her some help.
Well, I don't manage the auditor's office. The auditor does that. And, just like no one tells you what needs to be done next in precinct 1, I think we owe him the same respect. I believe that this is more of a restoration than it is a pay raise in that.
there's no pay raise.
There's no pay raise. He's just getting what he signed on for to begin with. But being as he was working 2 jobs at the time, he cut his pay voluntarily. And now he's here all the time and he restored it back. There's no pay raise here. There's not a pay raise.
On Rusty, we're talking about you.
Not for me.
I'm talking about your secretary.
Well, you said 2 people. I thought maybe.
Well, that's what they call the chief deputy auditor now. The raise that she's getting. You know, that's.
Well, I will say this much. When you look at the work that Lee does compared to other employees with a similar type salary, she deserves it.
I don't dispute that.
Okay?
What I'm saying is, that's a lot of money that the workload's not changing. Just because you're paying her more, she's still got all that work to do.
If you remember, y'all cut a second person from the treasurer's office several years ago. Christina's doing everything in there. I find it odd that y'all are singling out particular offices. If you're going to restore a second person in my office, why aren't you asking to restore a second person in the treasurer's office?
Well, I find it odd that the only 2 people in the county that are getting any kind of raises is on the 3rd floor. You know, we've got a lot of other employees that haven't had a raise in a long time.
Everyone got a raise last year.
Covered the insurance that they got. Cost of insurance.
You know as well as we do, that's out of our control.
No, we're not talking this kind of money for the other side, no.
Well, as I said, I think it's a restoration. Correct me if I'm wrong, or.
It is.
It's a restoration. So when he hired on at this number. He hired on at this number. And then when he was still trying to finish up his duties at another job, he voluntarily cut his pay, and he's here all the time, so he's just back where he got hired in. So I don't know.
Well, it includes the 3% from last year. The district judges approved it.
I get that. But what I don't understand is on this, your assistant getting that much money raise. If you're here full-time and you earn your money. She's here full-time and she's getting a big raise. And again, I don't dispute the work the lady does. I just feel like for that much money, why aren't we talking about giving everyone? There's nothing in here for any other raises except right here. It's a lot of money to be putting out into one person, and
How much do you think the wages were, or the total wages were in my office when there were two people?
Rusty, I can't answer that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's decreased. It's decreased.
I'm sure it has decreased because you don't have the insurance and everything else with two employees. But again, I think things would roll smoother if you had two people in there. I think, yeah. Well, again, this year, we tried to get some, safety equipment free from, tax, and again, I didn't get it because I couldn't get through the link, and,
Y'all received an email
oh,
back in April. Okay. When you wait to the last day, you're gonna have issues.
it was like a couple of days before.
No. You received an email back in April.
Oh,
I beg to differ, because I was copied in on it. You have it.
so I missed it, I guess, but.
It was sent to every one of y'all. And by the way, we did order some safety supplies for everybody.
Well, she didn't, okay, because Lonzo got through, I couldn't, I tried my best.
All right, let's circle back to the auditor's office. We'll keep moving. Treasurer's office, questions?
Yes, Judge, I have a question there on the chief deputy's, salary. I know we had discussed it last year where he's only making $17.10 an hour. And if you add it up, according to what, you got 41.6 here in the budget. That's more than what she's making currently an hour.
I came to y'all last year. I'm coming to y'all again. Before I took office, a person was cut out of my office. So y'all saved about $55,000. But you dumped all of that work on somebody else. Not a dime given to the lady. I'm here now, again, asking to give the lady a raise. Y'all knocked off $55,000 and eliminated a position in my office before I got here. I evaluated her last year for 6 months, and about this time then, I decided that she needed to get a little bit of raise. On top of the 3%, because all of the duties of that other person was put on this person, and she's done an effective job. And she's doing a very good job taking care of this. Now, I've never, in my life, working, somebody gets extra duties dumped on them. They don't get a little bump in pay. This happens. Also, there's other officials with one person in their office that has managed to get raises through other ways. So, I'm just here, and next year, if she doesn't get it, I'm gonna come plead for it again. Because to do that to a person, I don't think is right. Because if you ended up with Mr. Edwards' job with no extra money, you would expect to get a raise if you took on more duties. I don't see there's a problem with this. So you save 55, and you get somebody 5. I'd take that deal every day.
Well, I started 5 years ago with 4.5 people, and I'm down to 3. So we didn't get any raises for these guys, and so I think, that's kind of like the same thing you're talking about.
You run your office. If you didn't see a reason, if those guys are taking on extra duties,
Well,
you should have gave them a couple of dollars.
well, when you ain't got the money, you can't do it.
Well, but, okay, here's the deal though. I'd rather see you give a couple of dollars to those that deserve it and cut out the comp time where you're paying them through lunch.
We're not paying them comp time. They get off, time off.
We're not gonna have that discussion again tonight.
Well,
But there's a lot of time left for that.
I know.
Time is not free.
Not me, brother.
It's not free. So,
Again, yes, I agree with, Commissioner Morales. I don't, if you're gonna give one person this raise, there's a lot of offices that have picked up the slack. And I'm sorry, that's just what everybody's been doing.
I know 3 officers right now that got raises arbitrarily without anybody else getting raises.
3 officers.
I've named 2, and they're both
Both JP officers did a year or 2 ago before I took office, and last year, the attorney's office ended up getting some money to give that person about a $4,500 raise.
That was money in there.
on tax money.
I understand it's something that didn't cost the taxpayer. That's
Right.
fine.
We got that.
That's not what I'm asking.
Or even insinuating.
It's not even the same similarity.
Yeah, it is. Your lady has all the duties herself. You found a way to get her some more money.
The legislature that.
I am asking to give this lady a raise. I mean, y'all knocked out $55,000 a year off the help that I had. Done all of that work on her. I'm gonna tell you, and didn't give her a dime.
That office always operated with one person in the office. It always did, yes, and then the last couple of years when they had some money, I guess, they added a part-time, and then she came full-time, and then she was gone, so.
Well, what I'm telling you is, that lady probably would still be working there. Y'all cut job out of my office and dumped everything on her. I'm asking for $2.50. I mean, for her to take on a whole other job. I'm not trying to cut the budget here.
So when we get the.
$2.50 raise, when you knock out 14, I mean, what, 1457 or something? I mean, I would do that every day, and every department would do that.
So let's treat this like the auditor's office, and we'll circle back to it if we can, because we're not gaining any ground here. Tax collector, questions? County attorney, any questions?
You good, Rob?
Okay, we got, information technology. There were some significant increases in Andy's budget this year. The legislature passed some new laws that require email retainage from now on. I forget what else it was. I'm having a senior moment. What else was it, Andy? We had the email encryptions. We had the email retainage. What else was it?
Software.
Software.
Well, that's,
Software.
that's in there? Yeah, okay.
Software.
There's just to be able to comply with the, like, open records request, we have no methodology of archiving our email. We have no control over people's inboxes. They can delete messages that they maybe should be retaining based on whatever retention policies are. We just want to put something in place to address that. We're running into issues with encryption on emails as needed. Transit is getting email in with HIPAA information on their patients. EMS is doing contact tracing. That needs to be encrypted. Their alternative is to use faxing. So the base email is one price, and archiving adds a little bit to that, and then the encryption adds a little bit to that. So kind of a tier type thing. We've had, Gmail since I've been here, the free version. We haven't paid for anything for 10 years. I think it's time we need to address some of the issues that we have, just to be a little bit more in compliance. Some of the money that was put in the budget is for the financial software. That was added in there. He hasn't picked one out, but I think we added 50,000 for that. So that's a substantial bump to the 662 line, I believe. And the other thing we need to address is we still have some Office 2010 software on our computers. That's going end of life. We need to replace those. So we budgeted in some for taking care of the ones that are going end of life. Y'all know I don't come to court and ask for handouts a lot. I kind of tend to work with what I have, but we're to the point where we need to spend some money and address some issues we have.
Thank you.
How many of those 2010 versions do we, you got a bunch of them out there still?
35.
35?
30 to 35. So we have some 2013s, some 2016s, and some 2019s. And it's not that the 2010 doesn't work for what we need it to do, it works fine. It's that it's being end of life, and once Microsoft stops releasing patches, then it becomes a security issue.
Right.
So it's not that it doesn't work.
Right.
It becomes a security issue.
Anyone else? Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Buildings and yards.
So we talked about the added that.
Well, I've got an old copy of this. Mine says 7,500, and I think it was supposed to be an additional 4,000.
It's under, that's on the annexes, the next page.
That one's on the annex of it.
Yeah, the hospital's on the annex.
Okay, gotcha.
What is that?
The mowing of
The lawn service.
whole, annex, of the annex. It's in another batch over here, next one.
Talking about the old jail or the hospital?
Hospital.
Oh, on buildings and yards, you have a miscellaneous service. Rusty, I thought you said you didn't do miscellaneous. I'm just,
What line item, what,
690.
Honey?
I mean, what would that entail on?
Steve, what were those issues for those, this year, what were the instances that we had on buildings and yards that we've set up a miscellaneous for? You remember? We've added 3,000 under miscellaneous services.
Miscellaneous. Yards.
All right, we will check back.
I'll let you know.
I can't think of what.
I mean, because you got wages, contract labor, but you just said, like last year, you didn't believe in miscellaneous, so.
We'll check back on that and circle back to you, okay?
I honestly don't know.
Annexes. Questions?
Again, earlier on that, I guess that was the, where you had the lawyer fees and all that, because I'm thinking we are gonna have to do something with the old jail annex. Is that, you think enough to help with that? Also, if we have to, sue that roofing company? Or do we need to add something into this annexes?
I think the first thing we need to do is, have this guy write some nasty letters.
We are working on that, yes, sir. That is in the process.
All right.
We just can't.
So let's see where that takes us. I mean, we'll give them a chance to respond to the return receipt requested, and we'll go from there.
Oh, and one more thing, the Warren that's doing the mowing is, what all is he mowing? Just.
He's mowing this place, the hospital, the old jail.
Okay. So he is doing all three?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. But you got lawn service on this one too.
Well, that's part of the annex. I mean, it's all,
You have,
That's the, for the old hospital. I think what we're gonna do, when we circle back around it, because we're gonna have changes like y'all has mentioned. I think we're gonna combine annexes and buildings and yards into one.
okay, so,
We're just gonna put it all in one.
Auditorium, 15,000.
okay, when we had our last committee meeting, we did come up with a budget for the, auditorium. And, just don't go crazy yet, but, we decided to what was gonna take to keep the doors open, not counting the repairs, but this would be like electricity bills and that until we can get it rented. We figured about a $25,000 budget from the county and then 25 from the city. This would cover paying back insurance to the county, of course, electrical, maintenance, things like that. So that's something we came up with and.
Well, I'll tell you that the city is way behind on keeping their end of the stick up.
I think Lee is working with Sherry on that. You're working with Sherry on the auditorium because the city was behind on some stuff.
They haven't paid anything since January the 1st, 19.
They haven't paid. We've been the county has been paying the entire insurance bill at the county fairgrounds.
But I thought y'all were working.
Asked about the property insurance, but nobody contacted me about paying any expenses from last year. I supplied them information, but they not.
Well, and I told her and she told me she contacted.
Suffice it to say, Commissioner, $15,000 will more than cover our issues. I mean, there's 4 air conditioning units out there that they owe for, not to mention the insurance and a number of other things. So 15,000 will more than cover the county's contribution.
There again, this was just a budget that we came up with.
Right.
To,
okay.
this, not gonna put in there then the other 10 or what?
Well, we put $15,000 in there, but I don't think we're gonna spend a dime of it this year because they are way behind. We've been paying the entire premium.
So you want the county to pay half of what the city owes us?
No, I thought they were working this out. I thought y'all had gotten.
No, you're taking over the auditorium.
Correct.
Okay.
Not me, the council or the committee.
Well, they haven't paid insurance for years. Years. They haven't paid any invoices since January the 1st of 19. Plus they owe for those 4 air conditioners that y'all bought.
Well, have y'all gotten with them, gone over there and said, let's.
I asked you a long time ago for the cost of those air conditioners. I don't know what they cost.
Well, I don't know what they cost.
You bought them.
I didn't pay for them.
Okay. All right. I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's leave the 15 where it is because we're not going to go over that 15. We're just not. I mean, it's a big number that they owe us. And it's all legitimate. It's not smoke and mirrors, pie in the sky stuff. We've been paying 100% of the insurance premiums for a long while.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
the auditorium numbers,
Wear your mask.
take the
Sorry.
entire budget this year's budget. You take out the $228,000 in repairs that we had in that, and all the other expenses that we have in that budget. You take out that building repair and we're at $28,000. So what Dave is asking is nothing more than what we have budgeted this year for it.
And what I'm telling you is the city is way behind on paying their bills to the county, and we're not going to owe this 15, let alone another 13 more. It's just the facts. So you can stop by the office and see, or stop by the treasurer's office and see how much we've been spending on insurance. But we pay for the insurance on the announcer's booth. We pay for insurance on the outside restrooms.
Isn't that under?
We pay for insurance on the Julie Wimberly building and we don't own it. We pay all 100%. And we are owed money. The county is owed money by other entities.
Doesn't that fall under just a blanket insurance out there for?
Well, no, if the city wants half, if they own half of it, they have to keep their end of the stick up in the air.
But now you're adding into the Fair Association with the Wimberley building and the announcer stand. It's all sitting on county property.
Sitting on city county property. I read the deed the other day. It was signed by Jimmy Schultz's dad when he was county clerk, and the city and the county co-own 31 acres. They co-own 31 acres, in addition to co-owning the auditorium. The Wimberley building is owned by the ag people, I suppose, but we're buying the insurance on it. And it goes on, the show barn. Everything connected to it. It's just like send the county the bill, you write a check, and everyone else believes that it was free. That's the reason I'm taking a hard stand on the $15,000. We don't owe anybody any money for anything that's occurred out there in the past. I was pretty surprised we were insuring the outside restrooms. Just saying. I don't know what would happen to them that we would need insurance on that, but I guess a bull could run through them. But EMS. $1,092,000. Questions? Come up to the microphone, Pat.
I see that we have 4 new line items listed. The first one is for, $21,250.
What line are you calling?
12,150,640.
640?
We've never had that line item before.
Again, that's part of the deduction that they are making from their monthly payments. That's an expense related to the billing software that we're using. They charge anywhere, I think, from between 7.2% to 9%.
So this 21,000 can cover the whole year, or is it still, it's not done by percentage?
This is what we expect or estimate that their fees will be between October the 1st of 2020 through September the 30th of 2021. Now, one thing let me point out to you. The EMS billing revenue, we budgeted $450,000 for the current year.
Collection.
This is collections. We're not even half there. That's why if you notice on this year's budget, we cut it from $450,000 to $250,000. So I don't know where, it seems like some people think that there's a lot of money coming in. There's not.
Because we can get those, you can get those records from American. I can't speak for it, it's not here. That's who has the paperwork on all of that.
Well, that's in the contract, though.
And
That is a fee associated with the contract we signed with Emergicon.
but like I said, last year we didn't have this with Emergicon or our partner company, not showing in our.
Well, no. This year, I don't know what it was prior to Emergicon. Maybe they were netted out. But I want to show everyone what we're truly bringing in and what the cost associated is.
And on 12-150-650 underneath that, is that for the telephones and the ambulances or where? Because that's appeared often. $2,500.
What number?
12-150-650, right underneath the EMS bill.
As part of your billing program, we have to pay Verizon.
That's those two. Okay, and then, I guess like what David was questioning was 12-150-690, the miscellaneous services, for $250 for this.
I'll have
But
to
you
look
didn't
into
do
that.
miscellaneous.
I try not to.
These are all added things from the last.
I'll have to look it up and get back with you. But it was a fee or an expense that y'all incurred this year.
And then 12-150-667, the pest control services, $500.
What is the question?
That's an added line item. We didn't have it before.
You don't need pest control services? We can certainly take it off.
No, I'm just saying, in that little bitty trailer, he's done in 1 minute. I'm just saying, is this divided between everybody in the county? Is that what it is now?
$500 covers your portion. He comes monthly or bi-monthly. We've got another set of fees for the courthouse and the annex and the jail and.
Okay, because this is the first time we've ever had it. That's what I'm asking. In my whole 30 years of EMS.
Right. Well, we decided that you'd had enough pests and you needed to get rid of them.
All right. Okay, so as you see, we are with the budget at this time, and I looked at some of the increases and decreases. And of course, like I tell people, one of the best things that you have going for you is that you have these benefits, and I see where the health insurance has gone up for everybody in the county. You've got those budgets there, and you see, the only one I have is the year-to-date that is the end of July to me. Jose was hoping that we could increase, and these are all contracts, and you know, medical costs keep going up, and the contract with Lucas, which is like the CPR machine, has gone up. You see that we need to add $5,000 for that contract.
And what was that for?
For the Lucas machine, which is like a CPR machine.
That supplies, which one, rental?
It's 12-150-665.
665, equipment maintenance contract.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
What is the $7,000 used for?
Those are all, those are equipment. It's like different companies, like our cardiac monitors, our stretchers, everything has that, and for them, in order to come out and not make you pay another $70,000 or whatever, that's what those contracts are divided out. The last one was just the one I personally came to you with, was $9,000, $3,000 for 3 years to, if anything happens to the cardiac monitors, they come out, they fix them. And that's what we pay for.
Well, get me the contracts that we're gonna have to pay this coming year so I can get the right number in there.
Okay. And then, so biohazard, as everybody knows, with everything going on, even though it has gone up, that's item number 12-150-506. And he wants to go up 300 in that. They charge a contract fee of just so they can come out and service you, $1,200. And it's either $200 to $300 each time they come out. That's our needles, that's anything that's bloody in it, anything like that. We just can't throw that on the side of the road. He had.
507, y'all are.
Yes. Yes. 12-150-507. Moving it up to 6,000 versus a 4,000 due to the rising cost of stuff. Like we said, and I think that he told y'all earlier, you can't buy any more medications 1, 2 at a time. You have to buy by bulk. And where we, a small community, sometimes might hurt at is that they expire before you use them. We have no control when the maker makes the medication, just like from the pharmacy. You buy something that expires in 6 months or a year.
Well, who keeps track of the pharmaceuticals that y'all have?
I do.
So you do an inventory and then whatever has to be discarded because it's,
Yes, it expires.
okay. Can you send me a copy of?
The only thing that does not go is stuff that is not being made right now because of everything that's going on. let's say, I'm just hypothetically, say Benadryl's back order, they don't have it, then they can, and your medical director says you can use the expired medication because it's back order action.
So, am I understanding that you have to buy more than you want to buy
Yes,
and it expires?
sometimes it
Have
expires.
you reached out to a county like Refugio to see if they want to go in with us and split an order?
Well, it's got to do a lot more than that. Like, that's where the law changed like 2 to 3 years ago. Before, if we ordered something and it was not the right dosage or whatever, you could send it back. If it's your mistake, you just keep it. If it's a vendor's mistake, there's no problem. Those medications are no good no more. Like, if, say, for instance, they send you 500 or something versus 50, you could send all of that back. And what is done now, you can send it out to somewhere else. It's just the liability of, I guess, like everything else, what's in that medication. I know that Christmas hospitals and stuff like that, they share among each other and stuff. I don't know what these legalities are with us and them. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, Quero can just distribute from the hospital to their clinics, but they cannot distribute to us. You can't do that. It depends how about, I can't go buy 20 boxes of something out of a.
Okay.
And then, yes, 508, 12-150, 508. Last year, we were cut out $10,000. We did have it at 25,000, and I don't know where, or, I found it after y'all passed the budget.
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
We didn't cut anything on an EMS budget last year. If there was a reduction, Jose said, take it out of there.
As a matter of fact, when Jose came, he said, I want this much, and he got that much.
But it's here there, we had a budget of $25,000. I think we were cut because it was 10,000, so they left it at 15,000. As you can see, with the rising cost of everything again, we are over budget there. If he'd like it to go back up to 25,000, if we can't, maybe something else that'll help us, because that is way over budget.
You're at 16,000 right now, and you're budgeted 15, so.
Well, if the number of calls are dropping or have dropped, why is that kind of cost going up?
Say it again?
If the number of call outs have dropped, why is that going up?
Because you could go to one call, and it could be a shotgun, and you're gonna use a lot more material than somebody that you just transfer and just uses oxygen. It just depends on what you're using, it just depends on the patient. Okay, and the next one was 12-150-663, the vehicle repair, if I didn't go through that already. To up it to, it would like it to $7,500 versus the $6,000. Once again, we have 3 ambulances, one's a 2015, and this is about the time that it's got the mileage a little lower than 90,000 that they start looking at for trading in the vehicle or doing something. This is a 2015, and we've always just added the back of the box to it, and hopefully we can get a grant or something to help get another new truck for that. And even though you don't think a truck with 80,000 miles is a lot, get in the back of those trucks that are bouncing up and down. This is coming their generators, that's another issue. You know, all this stuff, wires, batteries, a lot worse treatment. Some of the ranch land we go through is not very nice. Item number 12-150-671. Equipment rental, and what we did was take the bills that are there right now that we've been adding up this past year, and they're coming out to $8,400 versus $2,750. That is mostly the oxygen. It's almost like they say you shouldn't charge people more than what there is. They're the only oxygen company around. We are renting this stuff, so now on the bottles that we get and stuff, they are charging us per bottle, per cylinder. When they come and leave one, that's another charge. So like if we have 10 big bottles of oxygen, it's a monthly charge.
Is that like a demurrage charge?
Say it again?
Is that like a demurrage charge?
Well, your auction settling companies do that.
Charge you for the use of their bottle.
They rent them, you rent them. A lot of people.
Send me an invoice that you're looking at to come up with that number.
Oh, we don't have them. I sent them to her, I just sent her a bunch of them.
How many do you,
$500 a monthly rent, and then this last time it charges for the.
so they charge $500 a month?
Basically, for the oxygen, right? For the oxygen, about $500.
The rental?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And what's about looking into purchasing, how does,
The purchasing is also how much oxygen we use. We have the small bottles, we have the big bottles, depending on how much you use on the patient.
yeah, but I mean purchasing the bottles versus renting them,
In the state of Texas, it passed that several years ago. We had the cascade system, we did it. Now you have to get certified and stuff. You have to buy your bottles and stuff and then, start doing it. But when I looked into buying bottles about 6 months ago, the bottles are like $300 or $500 and stuff. So it would be roughly, probably we have 7 large ones and about 16 to 17 small ones. And we rotate that out. We have 1 big tank, 2 little tanks in each truck. So they carry a little tank in his truck, and then our spares.
I'm gonna ask it. But on the trucks, do they have a oxygen making machine or do y'all use bottles?
Oh, no, just, no,
You can't have that, okay.
I don't know if anybody does. If somebody, that might be something somebody else can do with.
So you wanna increase 671
Yes, sir.
to,
Until we find something else.
How much? I'm sorry.
To $8,400.
8,100, you said?
400.
8,400.
We were over on the part-time EMTs, but that just comes, do we need them? Because in the salary, it should be budgeted, if I'm not mistaken, sir, for the vacation time and stuff, that Rusty should be in there, correct? In the part-time EMT?
Mm-hmm.
Like if somebody, for the amount of hours that we have and sick time? Yes, like I said, that, and that equipment maintenance contract, 665, we just sent a $3,000 check. So 3,000 would be coming off of what I have, and y'all have one that it has off that $6,000 balance.
That's 665?
6668 is what I have for, but this is July. And that
Okay.
check, I guess, cleared already at 3,000.
So what account number? 665? Okay.
$12,150,501, office supplies. We are over. We're doing also, I know it's refundable, but doing the COVID copies, there's a lot of things going on there. But still, even with this, we use a lot of office supply stuff. You do have people staying there 24 hours a day, so office supplies, we don't have a line item for, say, I'll just say toilet tissue and bath soap, and we don't have for washing the units and stuff, so sometimes it comes out of that line item. So that's why dish soap and stuff like that.
What do you think that one needs to be?
We're hoping that that would be up to, another 1,000. And we have buildings and maintenance and building repair, 12,156.57. We have 3,000 in it. And it was to be up to $1,000. All we have is that little bitty trailer bed. 657. If we were over, and I think it's because we had to get the AC guys over there twice.
Say it again?
I think it was because we had to get the AC guys over there twice. So if nothing else happened to it, we're okay, but
There's no warranty on that trailer,
On the trailer?
unlike the AC?
Trailer.
Oh, it was used.
Don't buy a new one.
It's called De Niro.
Okay. Well, I thought y'all said y'all were getting a new.
No.
any other questions? David, is about all you see too?
I have some lines that, okay, so we've discussed them a new building. So do we need to put a line in there and put just a line and put a few dollars in it just so we have the line, or, because I don't want to go through this deal like we went this year about we can't get the engineering and the architect paid so we can get started on this project. And there again, we're not talking about a $10 million building. We're talking about maybe $300,000-400,000, just something that, to get them out of this mobile home. And the school has already offered this property, so.
For free? It needs to go on here.
But they said they would work with us.
Well, that's what I was thinking, that was one question I did have for you also, Reggie, was, there's not in a lot of budgets that I mess with and have, because of other places and things that I do, they always have a capital outlay or an improvement thing that is for stuff like that, or say if we did need a new ambulance, or if we needed, to buy something solid and bigger that is an asset to the county versus not having it or anything that can be attached to, like a line item that you.
I mean, we have capital outlay. I think they use equipment, and I've seen that some of these other ones. But I mean, now's the time to change it to.
Well, I think we need to add some lines, is what I'm getting at, right? Or is there a line there that we?
No, but I mean, we don't have one in this budget, but it needs to be added, whatever you're thinking.
Well, I'm thinking the architect and engineering, we guessed it at 15,000, I believe, Alonzo?
That's correct.
15, 16, I don't remember what he come up
15 or 16?
with. 15 is what we were, I think that's what they did the old EMS, right, the architect.
A lot of difference in remodeling a building that exists and platting a piece of ground out, checking elevations, utilities, doing soil samples. There's a whole lot of difference between one and the other. It's not apples and apples.
Okay, so what do you think, 20? I mean, I'm
Stating the facts, you can decide how much money you want.
say that again?
I said, I'm just stating the facts. You can decide how much money you want. But that's not a viable comparison when you compare remodeling a building that's already sitting there as opposed to starting from scratch. It's just not the same thing. Not even close.
So Rusty, you're gonna create another line item for capital outlay? Is that what I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, you gotta separate out like your professional fees, if you're gonna do surveying, you're gonna have an engineer. I mean, tell me what you're thinking so I can make sure these accounts are added.
Well, we're gonna need engineering,
Okay,
architectural,
okay,
to draw up plans.
okay. Okay, architect, engineering,
And you just put new building and all of that fall underneath that?
I'd prefer to split it initially, so we can keep track.
We need to consider the land also in that,
Right,
Got that written down.
my next,
and the building, the architecture.
Well, y'all need to tell me what y'all want from a dollar standpoint. I can put all the line items you want. But like the judge said, we're $60,000 from a mandatory rollback election.
60,000.
So,
my guess is that, you know, with, come October 1st, we have the money to hire an architect. So it'll be a year before we come up with a plan and a dollar amount for a building, right? I mean, it's not gonna happen in a month or two.
we're talking about for the period October the 1st, 2020
Correct.
to September 30th, 2021.
Yeah, I don't think we'll build, and then we'll have, by then we can work on a budget for a building, right? How long does it take them to do, the engineering and the surveying and the bidding? That'll be the next thing.
And there's different kinds of ways to try to get this money in. We have a donation fund, we can start asking for donations again. There's things we can do. I'm sure that there'd be some people in Goliad that might buy a brick, how we do for Education Foundation in memory of their loved ones, how they did for the library office. There's also things that we can do.
Okay, but again, for purposes of this budget though, y'all need to give me some guidance on what y'all would like to see on these line items.
So, I mean, we got what, 4 line items already created?
At least 3.
3? So,
So professional fees, land,
architectural and engineering.
and engineering, excuse me.
With 20,000 to start out with. And then divide it amongst them 4 lines, or 3 lines, whatever you got there.
Say it again?
20,000?
Well, how much are you thinking on the land?
The land may be donated.
Oh, they're gonna donate?
Hey, I haven't discussed that because we don't have any money here in the line item to do.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, is put some money in a line item.
Building a line item doesn't create money. It just creates
Well, I
a
know.
line item.
But I mean, though, we gotta, if y'all wanna do this budget, we gotta put,
20,000. If we need more money, we'll just have to come back another time.
Well, at least we'll have a line to,
At least we have a line to draw up some plans for a building, and then we can process and work with the property. The school may end up working a deal with us, I don't know. We, the county, I'm saying.
So you got 20? Is that what you said?
Is that enough?
so I put 15,000,
20.
20,
Yes, sir.
and that's gonna be in the common, we're gonna have it all in one line, or we're gonna have it broke into,
He wants it broken out.
okay, that's,
Anything else?
I mean, if we need to transfer from one line to the other, we can do a line item transfer. So
Right.
20,000 total for those 4 items.
well, I put 5,000 on land and 15 on the engineering, and a total of 20.
You said you had named 3 different line items. You got land,
Well, like Dave was saying, you're not gonna build anything this coming year, are you?
I wouldn't think we could in a year,
Okay,
but
so
maybe.
that's what I'm saying, I'm just gonna, I'll put it in there, but it's not gonna have any dollar amount
On land,
on the building.
or building, okay.
I put 5,000 on land and the 15,000 on the, architect and engineering.
Okay.
Anything else?
Anything else for me?
Thank you.
Judge. I need a bathroom break.
Okay.
It's a break. Well, until they fix the microphone thing.
There's a number there of 87,000.
You want me to target with this stuff?
I just think you're rich.
Mrs. Brumby,
I'm sorry?
Mrs. Brumby,
Which one is she? On the left or the right?
she's on our right.
Okay, we're going to resume with contributions. Line item 680, city and county fire department contributions. It's at 87,000 currently. Comments, questions? I didn't realize you weren't here, David.
That's fine.
City and county fire department contributions, we're at 87,000. All right, constable number 1. Any comments on constable number 1? Okay, we're at the sheriff. Questions, comments?
Well, you had some more miscellaneous in there, but that, you had some charges, some expenses from the past year, I guess.
Right.
And, the furniture and equipment, is that still that console that we're paying for? The dispatcher console? Yeah, okay. Um, 707, I think it is, Kirby.
49.
Oh, no, that's different. Oh, shit, I'm on EMS. Yeah, you had 29 in it for, last year. Oh, then you bumped it up to 49. That's, I'm sure it's for the console, huh? 707.
Yeah, individual folders.
But you're only at 29%.
Individual folders.
No.
Furniture and equipment, yeah. That's the console. Okay, you had, 49,200. That's it, segment. But you haven't made the payment on it, I guess, is that? Because you still got 34,000 in there, 35,000.
That's it, I haven't made the payment yet. Haven't got the bill yet? I would say right offhand, I didn't get the bill yet.
Okay.
I'd like to make a comment about the building.
Go ahead. What number?
One, the building, the jail and sheriff's office building. If you're talking about getting a new EMS building, I'm telling you that the repairs on this building are becoming more and more significant. And I'm just saying that, I'm not sure how much you're estimating an EMS building will cost, but I'm telling you that a jail is gonna cost more than an EMS building. Oh, I bet so. Yeah, so I'm just telling you that, and if the jail standards, if I can't meet jail standards, all the inmates have to go to another facility that we'll pay $45 to probably $60 a day. And then we have to drive over and pick them up, take them to the doctor's office, let the drive over and take them up, bring them back to Goliad for medical. So I'm just telling you that you need to be aware of the building is now getting old enough. We have another $2,600 sewer bill. Roto-Rooter came out and did some more work. We're probably going to have to come get another group to come out because their equipment was not as good as perhaps others. I've also noticed that in 143, budget 143, buildings and yards, and Mr. Fredericks and I discussed this before, that you guys that have the courthouse, the annexes and whatever, you don't pay for anything out of your budgets. Whereas in the sheriff's office, if I have a building problem, it comes out of my line. And I noticed that you got $30,000 for building and maintenance on 143, and you got lawn and yard service at $7,500, and air conditioning maintenance at $15,000, and then you have some other ones over here, same kind of thing. I'm just trying to point out that Mr. Rusty Fredericks has told me that all my stuff has to come out of my line, which, okay. But I'm just telling you that I'm one of the few buildings that I have to pay for everything.
I got a precinct building.
I got to have a little more, probably a better building. I have to meet certain standards in my building, whereas the precinct yards don't necessarily have to meet the same standards that the jail and sheriff's office must meet. So I'm just pointing out that my budget is big. I will admit that. The sheriff's budget probably in every county is the biggest budget. So I'm happy to go over any figure with you.
Now, we did add more money for building
Correct.
repairs.
You did. I got 25 or 30 air conditioning units, and most of them are not new. Of course, the way station, the way engineer, whatever came, they did replace one. It was not the oldest one, so it was the easiest one to get to. So, and I was grateful that they replaced one. That was great. So I'm just saying that there are some issues with my building. Just keep that in mind as we go through and think about new buildings for people. There's a good chance that we may have to build a new facility soon. Any other questions, David?
No, sir. That was the only one I had.
Do you have any questions? Lonzo?
No, sir, I don't have any questions.
Mr. Edwards?
No, sir. This will be a serious issue that we will face at some point. It's just a question of when. We've already got dirt in the sewer pipes, which is never a good sign when you have dirt in the sewer pipes. So it tells me that the cast iron is going away underneath. And the next thing that'll happen is the water will start leaking out of the sewer pipes, and the concrete will start to go down, and you won't be able to open and close the cells.
These are problems in the slab area, not on the outside of the building, obviously.
Interestingly enough, the architectural and building contractors that built the deal, they decided they wanted to run all the sewer lines through the slab. They didn't want to exit the building at the shortest distance. They decided they wanted to go the longest way. So I have sewer pipes going complete through the slab from east to west and north to south. It's probably not the smartest thing, but we weren't here then. The new one, I would certainly recommend that we have somebody with some sort of building expertise. And I'm not saying that the commissioners, I'm just saying we need to have somebody with some expertise to be able to kind of look at the plans and make some rational statements that sewer lines probably should not run through the entire slabs. They can exit so you can dig them up.
And these problems probably in the middle of the building, not closer where you can exit or pour out and do that.
In the kitchen, we did have a break in the sewer lines 8, 9, 10 years ago, and I had to cut the slab and reroute the sewer line. actually, it's not the sewer line, excuse me, it was the grease line for the kitchen, because the grease line has to go through a septic tank or a grease pit before it can go into the city sewer. But we had to cut the floor in the kitchen and reroute it a shorter distance. They were going from the kitchen south into the building. The old grease trap was halfway through the building, and then from there it went to the front. Now we have it routed to the back. My vehicles are getting lots of mileage on them. They have, I will thank you for putting, a few more dollars in the vehicle line. So, certainly appreciate that. $55,000 maybe I might be able to buy 2 stripped down units. I will say that in our grant with Stone Garden, we're supposedly going to get a interdiction vehicle. So the interdiction vehicle can only be used, it can't be used on regular routes, regular patrol. It must be used only during interdiction. So that would be an officer that's on overtime. Of course, the Stone Garden also has overtime money for that also. But can't use that interdiction vehicle for any sort of regular patrol. So I might be able to get a vehicle from Stone Garden. I think I came back and looked at the amount of money on Stone Garden. I think it's wrong. I haven't looked at it again.
Around 85 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe more than 85. I think that the vehicle that they are planning to get to us will be a canine vehicle, so it'll be even more expensive than a regular car. So
Does that 85,000 include a car, or is a car in addition to the 85,000?
we get the car, and I think it's 85 overtime. So, but we're piggybacking off an adjoining county, because Stone Garden originally was set up for counties that touch the water. And we don't touch the water, so we are piggybacking off Victoria last year and this year. And I'm thinking that we may be able to, if we get some more money on Stone Garden and spend the money correctly, then next year we'll be on our own and be able to not have to piggyback off of Victoria. So.
Anyone else? Thank you, Sheriff. Emergency management.
Skip game warden?
I probably did skip the game warden. It was on the back. Okay, game warden, office supplies, patrol supplies.
You took their patrol supplies out.
What's our year-to-date on that?
That's, 155,509.
Went 750. The patrol supplies.
Yeah, but they haven't used any.
Didn't she say they bought some stuff this
They
last?
just bought some stuff. We had $900 budgeted for the current year.
Bought a camera, I think.
No, some snake boots,
I was talking with Jackie today.
snake boots.
And when I visited with one of the game wardens yesterday, and he said that the 150 just wasn't enough to help.
For office supplies or patrol supplies?
Well, the total.
I'm not sure what patrol supplies are, quite honestly.
Sorry, what, Judge?
But I'm not sure what patrol supplies are. I just don't know what patrol supplies are.
I'm thinking that some of it's ammo. I don't know what else it is, but I think ammo is in that.
Well, they bought some snake boots Friday.
Sorry. Well,
They bought some snake boots, he said.
I'll say it again.
He said,
Snake boots. They bought snake boots Friday.
Well, here's my take on it. We're getting 2 state certified officers in our county for $900 if we give them the 900. I think it's a pretty cheap deal.
And they probably won't spend it, so.
And if it is a cheap deal.
You what? I didn't hear.
We're $60,000 from forcing a rollback election on taxes. So I cut this thing really close because my preference is to let people justify why they need it, as opposed to saying, you need $2,000 here. So I prefer to have people justify why they need county money. So that's my tact on it. We looked at, when we worked on this budget 2 weeks ago, none of that money had been spent. None of that money had been spent. So we work off that. It's not that we're trying to be mean and awful. It's just, we look at what's been spent 11 months out of the year or 10 and a half months out of the year and try to make an educated guess on it. Because I don't know of another way to do it unless you have years of history for game wardens, and I don't think we have that. So $900 is a bargain for a game warden, 2 game wardens. So we just had it pared back.
I think we should probably, I feel like we ought to give them something. 150, he said that wasn't even close to helping them.
Well, the 150 is office supplies, and
But that's the total.
Bill's not licking a lot of stamps and writing a lot of zap. You know, they're not, office supplies isn't something that they're heavy into, I don't think. They don't do any postage, any mailing. So the $150 will probably cover their office supplies, I would guess. I'm guessing it would.
That cut their budget from 900 to 150.
Right. I guess because I don't know what patrol supplies are, although I was used to do that. And I just don't know what they are. I furnished my own weapon, my own lights, my own shoes, own knife, whatever. Certainly my own ammunition. So I don't know what patrol supplies are. Do you know?
I do not. I just feel like though that.
So I'll tell you what, let's do.
$900 for 2 men to come in and help patrol our county is a bargain. If we put it back at where it was at 900.
So I'll circle back to Bill and talk to him and see what he's got in mind. Because patrol supplies is a really ambiguous term.
I can't tell you exactly what's in the patrol supplies.
Okay. All right, so we'll go back to that one. Emergency management. The next time that I offer Jimmy Schultz a job, he'll cut and run. Because he agreed to do it for $1,000 a month. And I'm pretty sure that he didn't know this COVID stuff was gonna hit, but it did. We take reports 7 days a week and have since March. Jimmy is the leader on that. There's a lot of phone calls and encrypted messages that come through in the meantime. So I thought it was really reasonable to see if he would accept 24 as opposed to 12, and that's a bargain. This is going to go on for the unforeseeable future. No one, or maybe you do, if somebody knows how long it's going to go on, tell me. We'll know how to figure our budget, but I'm guessing no one knows. And I'm telling you, Jimmy's working 7 days a week. And y'all were paying the last one this much or more.
I don't think it was quite this much. You've doubled his salary from 15.8, his total budget to 32.9.
That's right.
When you took office, you said you didn't need anybody, that you were gonna do it. Okay, we needed somebody, I get that.
I don't have any control over this mess. I'm an old man and I've never seen anything like it.
You paid the other one $30,000.
Christy Bear was making how much?
I was a month for 12 months, $30,000 check.
She was making $30,000. go find an emergency management coordinator that'll work 7 days a week for even 24,000. They don't exist. I mean, he's in Victoria, he's with Pat and Jose, he's in my office, he's in these stores, doing everything that's necessary, running for PPE. The reason there was such a significant raise is because he was taking such a significant bad deal. But when he took it, he had no way of knowing, nor did anyone else, that this was going to morph into a 7-day-a-week job. 7 days a week.
Like I said, we pay Christy Bear $30,000 a year, $2,500 a month, every month, whether we looked at it or not. This ain't a bad price.
Judge, I see you got travel expense under one of the line items. He has his own vehicle, is that correct? So why we have travel expense?
I can't tell you why we have travel under, quite honestly. I guess if we had to go to if he had to go to an out-of-town conference or something along those lines, that hasn't occurred.
Which number is that?
There's certainly in-service training that occurs.
I understand that.
You would more than me.
I was talking about line item 620.
620, yeah, travel?
Travel, yeah. I was asking the question why the travel line item was added into it, but he's got it, and I said he had his own vehicle. So why is the travel in there? If you're gonna go conferences, name it conferences and dues like everybody else.
I guess I didn't understand. You want to know why he needs to pay for a motel?
No. I asked the question why the travel was in there, and I made the statement that he has his own vehicle, okay?
He does.
Okay, so.
Yeah, the county vehicle.
So why is the travel, to me, travel relates to travel expense, taking your own vehicle, correct?
Well, what about hotels?
It doesn't say hotel, you said, it says travel.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
Thank you, Roger.
If it's that, that's fine. But
Let me tell you, if you want that vehicle back, stop on 3 times in West San Antonio, in the middle of a freeway, trying to turn, trying to get it fixed. Yeah, I've been to San Antonio 3 times to pick up APD free. I've been to Victoria, I don't know.
That's fine, Jimmy, you don't have to explain all
When
that.
I go to school, I haven't had a day of school, I haven't asked for it, but I may have to go to some training, and I may have to stay all night, I'll take my camera.
I just asked a simple question, Judge.
Okay, all right, so I think.
Okay, that's fine, that's what I wanna hear. Okay.
All right, we're there. Thank you, Jimmy.
The line items over about, supplies and stuff. When I first got here, we didn't have that. I bought all supplies, paper, staples, you name it, I had to have it, but it couldn't work. And you put together, a computer that goes back to 1886, I don't know what that means, it's an old computer. Got it, my printer failed every other day. I'm not asking for it, I'm gonna ask for some supplies. I need staples, I need paper, I'm rewriting, I've rewritten your handwritten manual. Guess what happened? Blame that on the virus. Everything was ready to go, come back, and just pick at it, things from page 1. That's a lot of work, because this morning, like 2014.
I know all about that.
Okay.
I know all about it.
So I'm not asking for favorites, that's what he did. I'm asking to spec your supplies, a little bit of money to go to school, and that's all I'm asking for.
If we may change that travel item, put lodging in there and travel, that would suffice.
Lodging on the travel.
Just travel means one thing, and,
Okay. All right. Questions, comments? Okay. Constable number 2. Constable number 2.
Hey, I got a couple of things, and it's not that I'm gonna be like, what I got is, you got tires, tubes, and batteries for these trucks, $600. You can't buy a tire for
Which
that truck. Huh?
You on Constable?
Yeah, Constable 2 right now. You look at just looking at it, the fuel and lubricants, $1,000. I mean, if
Yeah, we
if
have-
they're doing that, it may need to go up a little bit, in my look.
On emergency management, you had $1,000.
Right, and he probably needs to go up on his fuel and his lubricants.
Well, you, those are half.
We're gonna move, tires, tubes to 1,000 from 600.
He got tire, keys, and batteries. You might get them there. I'd pay price of mine, but still.
Well, we don't use tubes no more.
But, I mean, your fuel and lubricants, stuff of that nature, I mean, that it's at the bare minimum. I'd hate to see them get out there and then we gotta start writing reimbursement checks for everything that's
Well, you
around.
gotta
when
look
we
at-
get
you gotta
budget them for it.
You gotta look at the previous and where.
Okay, do we have anything else on Constable number 2?
Vehicle maintenance repairs, $750. I think it ought to go to $1,000. That's my thoughts.
That's a pretty new car, truck.
If it blows something up, but it ain't cheap. $750 ain't no money. I mean, just thinking in my way, I would do it with my vehicle. So I think that needs to go up on both of them, 1 and 2. I think your tires, tubes, and batteries need to go up to $1,000. Or actually, on all 3, it needs to go up on emergency management a little bit too, because I mean, he's traveling a lot more than anybody else.
Well, you got 1,000.
2,000.
Yeah,
On
but
cars.
I'm just looking at what we're gonna do for, they're out there serving people,
I know, but
doing things. I
look
mean,
at their,
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay,
what they spent is what.
we'll look at moving those 2 items up to $1,000. Highway patrol.
Yes, I spoke to one of the troopers called me, Judge, and he'd like to see his office supplies go up to 2,000 like it was last year,
Yeah, you know how much money they spent thus far?
1,800.
Not according to our books, unless they did it yesterday. It's zero.
I'm just going by.
It's zero.
I saw one where it said he'd already year to date, 18.
200, they spent 200.
Hmm?
They spent 200
They spent 200 now,
out of the 2,000.
out of the 2,000. This would be an excellent opportunity to bring this up. There's a cost to money. Dollars cost dollars, however you want to put it. To put $100,000 in the county coffers, it adds 1 cent per 100 to your taxes. 1 cent per 100 to your taxes. So last year, when the commissioners needed $100,000 extra put in their accounts on a Friday before we had to vote on it on Monday, that cost the county 3 cents in taxes. It's just plain and simple. And you know how much of those $100,000 allotments have been spent? Zero. So we added 3 cents to our tax bill. 3 cents, which doesn't seem like a lot, but we added 3 cents to our tax bill. So the commissioners could have an extra $100,000 in their account.
other than me.
That's just the fact. So when we say we need this just in case, there's a cost to the money. And if the county decides as a whole, or this commissioner's court decides as a whole, that it's just okay, we'll pay that. But I'm not sure that the average citizen feels that way, and I don't think they realize that they had an extra 3 cents per 100 on their tax roll last year just because. And I'm calling it just because that's what they said. We just need it.
Didn't we move that from the Avalorum side to the road and bridge? Special road and
Oh, you said you wanted an extra $100,000 in your account.
moved it from,
Yeah, and it came out of ad valorem. That's correct.
moved it from the Avalorum to the special road and bridge.
It's still funded by tax.
It's
money.
still,
I know that, but it didn't cost 3 cents.
how much did it cost?
Moved it from the Avalorum side to the special road and bridge side.
Well, actually,
We didn't go up 3 cents.
Well, actually, we went from a 6 cent
That's what we
special road
did.
and bridge tax to
Do that. I won't even try on that. Okay. So there's a cost for this money, and you can do what you want to with it, but it's not free. So when you want to store up nest eggs, it costs a lot of money to do that. And we're not in the business of storing money in our accounts.
Where are we at?
Because we're in the business of determining, making a best guess, because that's all it is. Making your educated best guess on what it's going to take to operate your department for a fiscal year, and then getting that money. But having extra, that's what emergency contingent money is for. And we try to put that in there. But you can't just do stuff like that. It costs money. And that's all I got to say about that. So where were we on this?
At the very minimum, he said he'd take $1,000, if that's okay with you, Judge.
I'll give him 500. And he can show me why he needs more, sir.
That's fine.
They haven't spent any money.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. License and weight. Comments?
What about the waste and the management on the porta potties out there? Were we over budget on that or not?
I don't know where we're at. I know that, we took them away because they weren't working and we put them back. I don't know where we're at. Because there was a break in the action.
Yes, I'm just asking a question because I know prices have gone up on things like that. I want to see if we're over budget. If not, if we're over budget, we need to add something to it.
What's the,
Judge, I called the tech stop today to try to find out what's it gonna take to get those flashing lights working. He's supposed to check and call me back. They were supposed to have looked at them and see how much was broke and what it was gonna take. Then they got pulled off to the hurricane down in the valley. I haven't got a report back, so Ernest said he would.
that's where I'm at. He was gonna go out there and look at it, and I hadn't heard a word back from him.
They pulled them out to go to the valley to repair something. Ernest is gonna try to get with them tomorrow and get me a number. I said, I just need a budget number, because, you know, when the scale maintenance went down, when the scales flooded and everything, it was quite a bit. And I don't know what this lighting's gonna be, but we need to get them going.
Sure.
So, I don't know. I have no.
Think that's a good guesstimate?
Between the scales and that, yes, sir.
Okay. But the scales are gonna break at some point, or get out of level and have to be lifted, so.
But if we can get them things running, and they're assigning another trooper that's gonna kind of be here permanent for that, so there is some gain to having that thing going for us.
I have no idea what our revenues look like from license and weight out on the highway. I haven't looked at it. Do you know?
What's the now?
Do you know what our revenues look like?
I do. Well, I've talked to the sheriff in Refugio County. Just the one side, the south, is it the southbound? There's only one lane on 77 that's got the weights, right at $1 million a year revenue.
Yeah, I don't know what our revenue is, but it's not there.
And the license guys that I've talked to really like this spot. They say it's a good place to work, and they want to work it, so.
Well, we cleaned it up and we put the air conditioners in, and.
Now, if I can just get those lights going, would be.
Well, Ernest told me he was gonna look at them, and that's been a month ago maybe, and I hadn't heard a word back from him.
Me too, I called today, and I hope to hear something tomorrow.
All right, so we'll put $3,000 on the weight, license and weight.
Add 3,000?
3,000, and we'll see where that takes us.
3,000 total.
3,000 total.
3,000 total. Okay.
Health Department, I think they're static.
We did increase the indigent burial expense,
Okay. To
8,000.
8,000, yeah.
We're gonna be all right in the indigent medical services, 100,000? I said we had $100,000 budgeted for indigent medical. Is that gonna be enough for the year?
It was this year.
Okay.
It's that crystal ball thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't have any way of knowing.
Don't up was the burial on that one.
Right.
Right. Historical Society. Library. Claudine's good, I believe. Extension Service, Yonta's good as well. All right. Precinct 1, Road and Bridge Fund. Commissioner Edwards, yours is different. No, Mickey's is different, excuse me. I had some thoughts on that. You'd told me that you needed an extra person because you had to mow all the areas. So I picked that up, and in my limited mind, that takes away a person.
I only have 3 working right now.
Okay. Well, I'm not talking about how many are presently employed. I'm talking about what you're budgeted for.
Let me get to my page here. We're talking people now, that goes to the
Talking people.
special road and bridge.
Yeah, you're looking, that's not on that one.
That's not on this one. I'm sorry. Okay, that's right.
Go there first.
No, let's stay right where we are and we'll just stay in order. So last year, we had $723,000 in a grant that we've qualified for, but the qualification arrived before the money has. And right now, they're in the middle of an environmental study. And keep in mind, this is General Land Office, and they're in control of everything, just like they are the auditorium. When they give you money, what they're really telling you is, we'll spend money on your stuff, but we're going to decide how to spend it, and we're going to decide how to do it. So we called them today, and I said, hey, we've got 2 emergency generators that y'all have already approved, and you say you're doing an environmental study on them for the water system at Berkeley and out here at La Bahia. And they came back with a straight face and says, well, you should be getting the money by October. Of course, my first thought was, well, that's when hurricane season ends. We need it Labor Day, not October. So it's just slow to show up, but they've given us full approval on those dollars. You're paving the 2 generators. There's a little bit of holdup with the auditorium because of the interlocal agreement did not meet their criteria, and they discussed that with all of us one day. And that, supposedly that's being worked on. Anyway, so your paving is still in this budget. It's going to be shown in a different place, but that paving's still there.
Can we put a line in my budget for the GLO contract so that when we do get money, because, you know, the way it works, We do the work, we send them the bill, they send us the money, we pay the bill. I'd like a line in my budget to.
We're gonna do a budget for each grant.
So,
We're gonna do a budget for each grant.
Budget for each grant.
Budget for each grant.
okay,
That way it keeps it simple and straightforward. You'll certainly have access to it.
Like you spent money this year, in this year's budget, it's gonna have to be moved to special. On your road materials. That 200,000 was part of that grant.
I think, I don't have that paper in front of me, but I think the last I saw on that contract, it was 357, I think, for La Bahia alone.
357,000.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was thinking it was around 2, but yeah, 357.
That's what I got. And then I think it's, 208 for the water system and stuff, and then 175 or something like that. I'm working off the memory, but I do know the 357 is pretty accurate. But like you said, I had no say in which roads, nothing.
You don't? It's just like, he's not gonna have any say on what the floor looks like in the auditorium.
And
There's more than strings attached to this money. It's ropes and chains. I mean, they're gonna, them and the historical commission are gonna decide about the auditorium. The engineer's gonna decide the best way to repair your roads. I mean, that's.
you know, I said, look, let me do the simple stuff. They say we gotta tear up all the asphalt and haul it away. So I can haul it away. We can tear it up. We have the equipment to do that. It's gonna be a mountain of paperwork. And I said, let me have the money that I save doing that back to the county for more road work.
And they said, no.
She goes, we might can do that, but it's gonna be a mountain of paperwork, you know? I'll take on the mountain of paperwork, but she acted like it's gonna be pretty much a no.
That's what I got from it.
But you're telling me that there's gonna be more money coming besides that 75,000 I have in road money, material?
You have, a lot of money in your special account
Well,
for road and bridge. I mean, for special road and bridge.
on my special, I got, my budget, what I see is zero on my road and bridge. Special.
You're not looking at the right paper. I'll give you a happier paper.
Be something happy, because
In your special road and bridge, you currently have $132,379
not what I'm seeing.
left to spend. You have $26,953 from last year,
Okay.
which gives you a total of $159,000. And just to continue on, Mr. Morales has $426,000. Mr. White has $341,000. And Mr. Bruns has $330,000 in special.
I have been using it to try to repair some of these roads in my precinct, so I understand I'm not gonna have as much as the other commissioners, because I have been. But what I'm seeing on the budget itself that you had given me, $75,000 in my ad valorem side, road and bridge, road materials. I have my road materials in my special.
Too many papers. All right.
I got it. I show.
We're proposing in precinct 1 special for precinct 1, $350,692.
That's something new.
Well, it's here.
The paper Rusty handed out to us here just a while ago.
$295,678 for precinct 2, $157,409 for precinct 3, and that's because that he contributed out of his savings account. And precinct 4, $280,866. I just gave you the general. The special is 109 for you, 142 for Alonzo, 506 for Mickey. Again, that's a reflection of him giving his money out of his savings. Doesn't mean he got more money. And 164,000 for Mr. Bruns. A total 460, 577 for you, 437, 894 for Mr. Morales, 663, 817 for Mr. White, and 445,751 for Mr. Bruns. That's a total of $2,008,000. So with money that you have in your special, money that you're being allotted, you can't spend it all. And guys, we're up against it. We are really up against it this year as far as unknowns. We just don't have any way of knowing.
This 109 that I have in my special, that's all going to labor. That's it. There's no road materials in it by the budget I see.
Right.
109 is nothing but labor, part-time, and then all the Social Security, health insurance, retirement, that stuff.
Well, you've got 159 in piggy bank.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many men does that 109 pay for? Or employees, I'm sorry?
Let me ask this, Judge. On the piggy bank,
On the what?
what we're calling the piggy bank, that 159,000, does that,
Technical term.
this is just so I know, but is that money always left in my special road and bridge?
Yes, sir.
It's not lumped into all four of us, what's left over?
No, that belongs, they wouldn't want to trade with you because you got the least amount, so you're safe.
What I'm saying is, it stays in each of our restricted.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Alonzo's not going to trade with you. He's sitting on 426,000.
Looking at, what paper you looking at? This one?
Well, I'll say for you.
37.
You can add them up. I just made a back page so I didn't have to sit here and add it up.
No, you have 249,000.
Huh?
The road and bridge special. Alonzo has 249.
Right, but you got to add that to the other number. Unless I'm way off base here.
And David has 219.
You had 177 remaining balance and 249 from carryover from the year before, which makes it $426,000.
I don't see those numbers here, Judge, that you, the 426, what you're adding up, I don't see it on this paper you got. What you add?
Special road and bridge, 219, 220 this year. You got that much
I
out
don't
of
have that, what is that paper, 219, oh, there it is.
that just happens to be what you got left. I mean, yeah, what you got left. So it comes out to 159,000.
Because you added up all these, or what you added up, 159,000.
You had a remaining balance, the carryover.
This one here,
You don't have the carryover.
I don't,
That's the carryover from last year.
it's not showing up here.
No, you see that. But I get you a real copy.
That carryover is like you're telling me, $159,000.
Well, there again, that's what we need to see. I mean, we got one line that's here on the here.
I assumed y'all knew how much you had in the bank.
First one I seen, I just don't know. Yeah.
Y'all don't ask for a balance?
We asked for one.
You don't give it to you.
Well, we asked for one, I haven't seen one as of yet.
Okay. I bet we can fix that.
And Judge, on my budget, the labor is my biggest issue. because in this year's current budget, my budget versus actual, as of, this is dated, 8, I think. I think it's first of the month. I've got 125,000 in my labor for my men.
Oh, it's carried over, okay.
I've spent 90,000 year to date.
Okay, I see it right here, I see.
90,000.
Okay, I see it.
You give me 72,000 for next year's budget.
Okay.
That was for 2 full-time people and your part-time person.
I couldn't hear a word you said.
2 full-time people and 1 part-time person, he said. Is that what you said, Russ?
Yes.
That's right. So the idea is that when we took away a person to keep you from having to mow all the yards.
The fourth person that I don't have.
It was a fourth person, not a third.
I looked at the cost in the precincts for road miles. And these 3 are at $5 to $6, and you're at $9.
9,000.
Huh?
It's thousands
9,000.
per mile.
9,000 per mile, I'm sorry. 5,000 per mile versus 9,000 per mile.
And you're talking my total budget over the years?
Yes.
Judge, I inherited junk.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that I don't have to explain it to you.
Well, no, you don't.
But all I'm saying is, not only are the roads falling apart, so's the equipment. I mean, when I took office, I had, out of all the dump trucks, everything, I had 1 truck that would pass inspection. And I started with that. All the dump trucks, the water trucks, none of the tractors would start, and I haven't replaced them.
Look, I got that. I understand
So don't
that.
fuck with me because I'm spending more per mile. I'm just trying to get my precinct back up into some sort of state that you can depend on something when you go out on the road. We pull more shit home every evening than we do when we drag it out. And I don't have the money to just start buying something new every time I turn around. So I'm trying to work with what I got. So it's gonna look like it, not to mention the roads in the shape they're in. So I'm not gonna doing everything I can to improve my precinct.
I'm not here to beat you up. I'm just pointing out facts. And 9,000 versus 5,000 per road mile, 40% more.
What are you telling me to do? Quit building roads and just twiddle my thumbs? I don't think the people in my precinct would appreciate that much.
You have more money to operate on this year than you had last year. With the other paving that's gonna be done, the 300 and whatever it is. You have a lot more money than you had last year.
But I can't do it with two and a half men either.
I look at the other guys. Look, I have to try to make pragmatic decisions. And I've got Mr. Morales in precinct 2. He's got 2 guys. He's got a lot of road miles. I look at Mr. Bruns, he's got 3.
Need 4.
Sir?
Need 4, but I got 3.
And how many do you have, Mickey?
Got 100.
Huh?
100 miles. Oh, people, I got 3 right now.
So if Mr. White has 3 guys with nearly twice as many miles as you have, it seems like 3 is a high number. I can't overemphasize that we're up against it this year. And when I said we had $60,000 to play with before we have a mandatory election, the laws all changed. The laws all changed. Let me read this real quick. They changed the names of these things so that to make it harder. It's now called a voter approval tax rate, and it kicks in automatically. It just kicks in automatically. So if we decide to raise taxes over the $60,000 slop we have, then we're going to have a rollback election. So I've tried to use good judgment. And how do you decide how many people commissioners need? Well, you look at the road miles and you say that you see these big precincts and you see the smallest precinct and you need the same amount of people.
Judge, not only do I have the roads, I have all the auditorium grounds. I've got La Bahia grounds. I've got the way station grounds. I have the town of Fannin, La Bahia. And then you take $11,000, you add up what you're trying to give in raises. That's $35,000 between the raises that you want to give, between the EMS, the treasurer, and the auditor, and then you add 11,000 to that on your lawn service. We made these cuts, and they were hard ones to make when we made them for the sake of trying to balance our budget. So why do we want to go back after we've made the tough decisions, and yet you want to take a man from me?
You know what I really want?
You want me to just say, I'll do whatever you say?
No, I don't. I resent that, actually. You know what I really want? I want y'all to do what he did and grab some money out of your special road and bridge and help supplement this thing, because there's a lot of people in this county that are not working, that are not going to be able to pay their taxes. And then it's going to be woe is me time when we find ourselves in a 10% shortfall. On that 10%, when you have $7,000 worth of taxes, that's $700,000. So what I'd like to see, and we could get this over quick, we would have extra money. Just take some money out of your special road and bridge fund and do what Mr. White did and supplement these things. That's what it's for, to build roads. If I'm being over simplistic, I apologize. But the money is sitting in your accounts. I read the figures that you've got. Mr. Morales has $426,000 at the end of this budget year. If he put $250,000 of that into his budget, problem solved. We might even be able to put some money back in the piggy bank. I like good roads. I love good roads.
That's what I've been doing all along. I've been spending that money trying to improve roads. I only have $159,000 in there.
That's right. You have 150, and we would have to help you with that. But Mr. Morales and Mr. Bruns, they've got plenty of money to plow back into that budget with the special road and bridge tax. And it would just solve all the problems. The problem would be over. We could all go home.
Well, you know, we put on like the 109,000 in my case. We took all that out of the ad valorem year before last and put it in this to help. We did that, remember? And we all did that.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like we're not doing anything.
Didn't say you weren't doing anything. I'm telling you, the way you solve this problem now is to dig deep into the special road and bridge fund and help supplement your budget. Because we're going to, you know, when I was talking to the superintendent the other day, I think he said they had $12 million in the bank, and they're prepared for it. We, however, are not. And if there's a shortfall, don't have a crystal ball. If there's a shortfall, we're going to be in sad shape. We're going to be in sad shape. So I'm asking you to give money out of your special road and bridge tax.
Well, you can't use the word give, but we can take the money that's in our special road and bridge and say move our fuel into that line. We can't take that money out of our special account and put it over in that VORM side, but we could move our fuel. Let's just use that example. Our 20,000 in fuel from the ad valorem side into our special road and bridge.
You can pay all your help and buy all your road material with it.
Well, we already.
Mickey moved $300,000.
Mickey put $300,000 into his,
Special road and bridge. Mickey is only taking $20,000 out of general fund ad valorem taxes. 20,000. He moved everything that he could into special.
This is what I moved, just so you'll have an idea. We got our salaries for our guys.
300,000.
Fuel and lubricants, I moved into special. Tires and tubes, I moved into special, because you gotta have tires on the equipment to do road work. I did road materials, right-of-way maintenance, that's part of fixing a road. I put that in there. Equipment maintenance, if you got equipment, you gotta have that equipment on that road. If it breaks, you can fix it out of that money. Vehicle maintenance, the same thing. Rent of equipment for road work, if you need to rent something. Purchase of equipment, if you need to purchase a piece of, all that money is what I'm using out of special to not have to take so much out of the regular ad valorem to build that safety net that we required to do when we ain't got it. Because if a hurricane hits, we're screwed. I use my special money because it's designed for road and bridge work. It's not designed to hold on to when suck out the ad valorem. You use your road and bridge money for your road and bridge stuff and use it. And then turn around and get what little bit you need from the other and let the other in there for a cushion. It's simple, common sense business.
my purpose, and I hope you believe me. I hope you believe, my purpose is not to cut you to the bone. You know what road I live on. And if I go the short way, it's not the best road. I'm just saying that we could fix a lot of stuff. You could buy a new tractor with a treader in it.
I'm gonna get a new tractor. I'm tired of fixing this.
Well, I understand. So get the money out of the special road and bridge fund and transfer it to line items that can be used to maintain and build roads.
See, that's what's giving me the headache, is why are we transferring it? That money should, that's a restricted fund. That's special road and bridge money be in that fund.
That's right. He's using it in lieu of adding to the tax rate.
Adding more land to the special road and bridge.
That's right. But he's also adding 300,000 out of his reserves.
And he's reducing the amount of money.
That is still restricted special road and bridge funds.
That's right.
That's right. That's right. But you can still buy road materials. You can do all your road work. You can buy tractors with shredders. You can do all that. And I know it's nice to have a nest egg. We're up against it this year. This is different. This is a whole different thing than we've ever seen.
How much is Kenneth gonna have in his special road and bridge at the end of this budget, in September? After he pays his employees out of there, how much is he gonna have left if he doesn't spend anything else on anything else? Where's that number?
He's gonna have $159,000 in his accounts.
He's gonna have that, that's left over from 19, 20?
Yes.
He had 26,953 on October the 1st of 19. In the current year's budget, he has a remaining balance of 132,379. You follow me?
So he has another 132 then?
But now he's going to pay his employees through the end of September.
Yeah, he's got a.
And that equals $159,000.
Judge, now that's if I don't spend the 100,000 that I have in there this year.
The employees.
250 now. Right? I've got $100,000 budgeted right now in my.
If you decide to go out and spend $100,000 on road material right now, obviously that'll decrease the amount of money you have by 100. But it also means that you won't have to go out that $100,000 worth of road material out of the budget that we're forming right now. So it's a wash.
But what I'm saying is, you're telling me I have 159,000 in the savings. And I've got $100,000 right and this year if I need to.
Right.
If I don't spend that, that's going to increase that 150,000 by 100,000. You're not using that that 100,000 is not, 159,000, 100,000 is coming out of that, is it? This is savings?
That 100,000 was ad valorem, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's in special.
100,000 is the road material.
It's in special.
It came out of ad valorem taxes, though.
Well, yeah, but it's, if you don't spend it, it stays in,
So that 159 that I have in savings now would grow by 100,000.
no? He's adding the 26,952 plus the 132,379.
You've got the least, and you can't do as much as these other
I
two.
understand. And I know why, because I have been trying to improve some things.
So we can supplement you. There would be some room to supplement you, but
I don't think I'll need it, but here's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to make clear is budgeted money for this year. I'm hoping I don't have to go into that restricted because I'm trying to save it for a bigger job. Save my inform side.
You're gonna have to
What you
use,
tell me to do, I do. What I want to know right now, Rusty, is 159,000 is in the piggy bank. Now, that 100,000 that I've got budgeted for this year, is that out of that piggy bank, or is that was from taxes this year?
it's not.
that's this year, that 132,000 is this year. But like I told you earlier, if you look at your regular road and bridge, you have spent $51,070 thus far on road materials. Current year.
This, you're looking at my budget.
I'm looking at the current year's budget that I gave you a copy of this.
Oh, okay. I think that's the same thing as this. Okay,
If you go to account number 21-171-506.
506,
That's correct.
that's road and bridge.
Okay. 200,000 of that was from this community block grant.
It's been taken out of this budget.
Well, put it this way, it shouldn't have been, and what you've done is you spent 51,000. That's gonna, part of that's gonna have to be moved, or majority of it's gonna have to be moved to special. We don't have the community block grant money.
We'd like to have it, and we will have it, but we don't have it yet. But you spent it. But it's all right, we can fix it.
Well, look, I'm on board to try to bring things back. I understand what Mickey's doing. I think it's got merit.
Look, just to take a small break, I talked to the superintendent. They're gonna pass the solar thing. And that's gonna mean $234,000 a year to us. We've got 2 more solar deals teed up and another project as well. So if we can just hold on this year and start getting that pilot program money next year, it's gonna be a tremendous help for us. But with the shortfalls, I just think we're in a jam. I wouldn't run my household like this.
Well, back to my original thing, I'm still not okay with the $72,000 for labor is just not gonna work. With the
How many people would you?
I have a part-time guy that works. And I've,
So if you will get with me tomorrow, or Rusty'd be better, and give him, identify those 3 men and the wages they're taking, then we'll be more than happy to pay for your 3 guys, if that's where you're at.
been with me since I've been here and longer. I mean,
Sir?
and you know, I'm just, tell you the truth, 3 ain't enough, but I can do it with 3. I've been doing it with 3. With me, that's the one. I can, 75,000, that's.
So if you will get with Rusty tomorrow and give him the wages for the 3 that you have or the names you have, or we can get Brian to look it up. And we'll adjust accordingly. Thank you. So there's no point in saying it again. It's time for the big ask, and this is county money, and the county is in a jam, and the county needs help making its budget so that we can continue to improve these roads.
Well, you know, Judge, since I've been in, we have been trying everywhere in the world to get our budget under control. We've given up, we went down to 50,000 one year on everything just to try to help balance the budget. And that money that we had in our, what we didn't know we had, that's a lot of that is from the frugalness that we were doing to try to save money that we were giving back at the end of the year. So, I mean, it's not something new to us. The way I look at it is to try to save money. It's not that we haven't been trying.
Sure.
You know, we had about $2 million that we put back that we thought we already had put back. So nothing new that we've been trying to do this since I've been in. We've been kicking money back at the end of the year.
Well, I think one of the problems is we had some mystery bookkeeping going on, and now that we've kind of got it sorted out and shuffled,
yes, sir.
Then we know what we got. But until sorted, we didn't know. Nobody knew. Y'all didn't know. Nobody knew. And that water, y'all did the right thing, giving the money back out of your ad valorem, and it helped us out tremendously.
That's where we intended it to go in the first place.
Sure. So the special road and bridge money, I'm asking you guys to plow it back in to the roads, to your road budget. That's what it was intended for. That's the only thing it can be used for. And I'm asking you to do it. I'm just asking you right now to do it. And all these problems will vaporize. And you won't be broke.
And what you don't spend ain't gonna leave. It's gonna be right there to go again next year. Right the time.
You're number 2, so I'll ask you, Mr. Morales.
What's that, sir?
You've heard the ask. What do you think?
I'm all for helping, again, like we did before. But in my case, I've got some bridges that need to do some maintenance on. Could be upwards of 100,000 on one of them. So I'm gonna use my money on one maintenance job on the bridge.
Well, you know, can I say something? It's really hard to do a budget when we don't have, neither one of us have a clue what y'all plan to do. And it's really difficult to prepare something. We're not here to insult y'all or anything like that, but we have no clue of what road mileage or what roads you want to pave, what bridges you want to work on.
Nothing.
And I guarantee you, it's not like this in other counties. And there's no reason why y'all can't tell us in advance.
I mean, if you've got a 1.5-lane, 2-lane bridge and it's 40 foot long, what's the cost on that? I mean, I got nothing to work with. I don't have any idea. In fact, this is the first I've heard from you that you said you were going to be building bridges this year.
I'm not building, but I'm doing maintenance.
Okay.
It needs to be done.
Well, I hope you get it done. But I also hope that you'll contribute and help the county get through this.
Like I said at the beginning, I don't mind contributing.
Okay.
But there again, I got things I got to spend it on.
You've got $426,000 in the bank.
I understand that.
Good for you.
I mean, that's a good deal.
But
Puts you in a great position to build, to repair a bridge and to,
here again, at the end of, before probably the end of this budget year, we're gonna spend a bunch of money. We're gonna probably spend 80 or 90,000 on seal coating that I'm gonna do,
okay,
coming up into this month, or beginning of September. Okay?
okay.
But none of this was in your budget request. That's what I can't understand.
I'm not asking for extra money. That's what I'm using the current budget that I have to pay that for. I'm not asking for extra money to pay for that seal coating. I'm using the current budget that I have.
What about the money that you got stored away?
Then I'm gonna use that for the bridges, yes.
Well, then, do you think that you could have put that on we send out a sheet to everyone, send us a wish list, and I didn't get anything about, look, I don't know what it costs to retop a bridge or put new guardrails on it.
Judge,
Just one second. We prepared everybody puts in their wish list, and we prepared a balanced budget that's that far underneath the automatic vote, literally $60,000. And I know it's bare bones. I got that. It would be nice to avoid an automatic election. It'd be nice to avoid that if we could. And with money that y'all have to spend that's dedicated to roads that can stay in roads, it's the only answer I see. It's the only answer I see.
what I was gonna say is, you're saying you don't know what we're doing, but I don't either till I see this budget. When I see 75,000 in road and bridge, I know I can build a mile of road. That's if I don't patch a pothole all year. Pretty close. So I don't know which road, I don't know where it's gonna be, or if it's gonna be a half a mile here or what, but that's all that's gonna get me. So I don't tell you I'm gonna go do this road or that one. I look at that and I go, this is how much I have to work with. That's the way it is.
Being involved in life for a few years in businesses and other things, communication or lack of will absolutely destroy a business or a company, a family, whatever. And we need to develop a new process so that the commissioners come in and explain their needs to us so that we can try to make it fit. You can trust me when I tell you, I'd like to give you $1 million a year. I mean that. Because my road it's not all that hot. I'd like to be able to give you all that money, but we don't have it. And until we get our revenues up, which I think we're over the hump a little bit. Until we get our revenues up, we're going to be cutting budgets and pinch and pennies. It just is what it is. So guys, you got the money. Put some in your budget so that we can operate the county. This is not for me. It's for the citizens of your precincts. I don't know how to be any more transparent about it. And you can check these numbers and you can look at these tax rates and it's so close. They changed all the rules. You used to have an effective rate, which was the amount of money it took to raise the same amount you had last year, and a rollback rate, where it could trigger an automatic election. Well, now if you hit that rollback rate, it's automatic.
And I will come in tomorrow, Rusty.
Okay.
I can see moving some of the fuel meeting, equipment repairs, things like that into the road and bridge to take the burden off this. But I'm not gonna go along with any raises unless everybody gets something. Just won't do it. I'm sorry. I feel like if we're gonna give raises, we need to do it fairly across the board. We made these cuts. They were hard to make when we did it, but we've done it. Just like the lawn surface, we made that cut too. It kind of come easy because the guy had to quit, but we made that cut to save money. And I think we need to, the cuts we made, we need to honor. I mean, they were hard to make.
This county runs really lean.
I understand, and
On-stop toilets.
it was lean before you got here, and we're leaner.
Runs really lean, and there's not a lot of fat to cut. If I could see any fat to cut, then we would be doing that. But I spotted some money, and it's in y'all's special road and bridge accounts, and ad valorem accounts, really. Special road and bridge, excuse me, from last year and this year. And we need to run that pony.
I understand. I think it's something.
Mr. Bruins, you have anything?
I thought Mickey was next.
He's satisfied with his budget.
I got a question on his. What is $300,000 transferred in for precinct 3?
That was transferred in to build my special budget.
It's coming out of his reserves, and
Y'all have got that you need to move over and transfer it in like I did. That's why I was telling you, I put fuel and tires and equipment and repairs and everything in it. I transferred that money out of there into my special to build my budget so I don't spend ad valorem money so we can build that cushion.
But you just said 2 weeks ago at a meeting, this is an illegal tax, and
What's an illegal tax?
the special road and bridge.
Special road and bridge is not illegal
Well, you
tax.
said it 2 weeks ago.
No, what I said was, when we was going to look at this flood control tax.
Get on a rabbit trail. I'm interested. Okay, so tell me what you're willing to do.
Where's it coming from, the 300?
You didn't spend it, you've been holding on?
it's hit from his,
You're taking that out of the general fund?
No, I took it out of where I didn't spend it last year.
Right, out of the ad valorem side.
No, out of the special side, $300 and something thousand. I took 300 and transferred it into this budget to spend it and not hold it.
I guess what the question is if this is a restricted fund.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I see, okay, I think I see that.
It's in there already. Took the 300 and.
we're not he's using his reserves.
He used his.
That's 319,000.
Right, and I took 300.
He moved his bills from
I took that 300 and put it in this budget and spent it. Instead of taking, if you look on my ad valorem side, it's only 150,000.
Right.
That's right. And he's
Okay, why are we going fuel? There's nothing. I built mine out of the
because
whole budget.
means in way like it is.
That I could leave that
You
or
won't spend it.
safety net.
It needs to be used as part of your expenditure this year.
Illegal tax was the flood control tax that they were trying.
I personally think it's absurd in a county this small,
You weren't allowed to do that.
$426,000. When we're scratching pennies.
I don't know, that's thinking
I have it, I've never seen.
opinions in, and it wasn't.
But it's still, I think that's what's confusing us.
Okay.
That's where my money come from. That's what he's saying. Y'all need to just take yours and transfer it.
We saying we're
Specialize of that instead of building out of the ad valorem.
You're transferring it into this new budget we're forming. You're transferring it into this 2021 budget.
I get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why we're transferring.
On every budget, or every department, in road and bridge in particular, you have a revenue section, and right below it you have the expense section, don't you? If you look at Mickey's, you can see his ad valorem, and you can see his transfer in. Those two total to the total amount of the expenses that he is budgeting that will come out of special. if you don't pick up that $300,000 up in the revenue side, then his revenue is going to be much lower than what his expenses are. You can't do a budget that way. It has to balance. You can't spend more than you.
I got that.
Okay.
I guess, going back to where I'm kind of stuck at this, and I think David is too, is if it's special road and bridge money, and it can't be used for anything else, it's a restricted fund, then it should be in an account in the special road and bridge. Why don't, we shouldn't have to transfer it in. I mean,
how are you going to show it in the budget then?
well, obviously, I'm not.
That was a trick question, you can't.
Yeah, but.
That was a trick question. You can't show it in the budget unless you transfer it into the budget.
He's transferring it out of his leftovers.
Okay, that's what I do.
New budget.
But if they're saying y'all need to do the same thing.
When you see that, you look like it.
All right, well, we're kind of circling here, guys.
I have a few more. Let me get to Okay, I wanted some lines because I think I'm gonna be able to buy one of the old ambulances from the EMS. I think they're gonna take one out of service by the end of next year. I think. So this is not really adding money, I just want a line.
He wants to add an ambulance line to us.
Because I don't have a vehicle line.
In special or general?
I guess just the general.
You can do it out of special and buy a vehicle. It's for road work, right?
Exactly right.
So there you can put it there.
But I need a line item, so.
Well, again, in special or general?
What are you going to use the ambulance for?
Well, how about equipment? New, like, it ain't gonna be new, but new equipment, I guess you still call it new, even though it's used. Put that under the special road and bridge, a line. And there again, the leftover money from the last 2 years in the special road and bridge, we can transfer that in at any time, right?
Well, no, you have to transfer it in before the budget is created.
But it's the money sitting there, it's an account, right?
No, you have to have a source for the money, and you got to transfer it into the budget or it doesn't count.
Transfer it into the special road and bridge. I thought it was already there.
It is there.
It is there.
But it's not in this year's budget that we're creating.
Oh, no, I know that.
Okay, so.
I don't want to add to my budget. I'm okay with my budget, what y'all got here.
Okay, so.
I just need some lines. So I can transfer that money in the special road and bridge that I got left over from the last 2 years.
Into the new budget we're forming, and it's still yours.
Oh.
Okay, that was simple.
A question y'all need to ask yourselves is, if we exceed this de minimis rate, because this year it's sort of screwy, and Michelle can explain it much better than I can, but if we go over this 0.777990, there will be an automatic rollback election.
I'm not asking for more.
Well, with all the expenses that everyone's asked for today, we're going to be there.
Well, we just need to look at them, right?
Let's say we do go. How are you going to explain to the citizens of Goliad County that I've got $400,000 in my reserves that I won't use for my road and bridge?
But I am. See, this was our little savings account for this 1980 model maintainer I got that might blow up tomorrow. And I got a bridge that if TxDOT doesn't do anything with here pretty soon, if it goes down, I have to build a bridge. That's what this money's for. Now, do I need any more than what's in? Well, yeah, a bridge costs a lot more than $300,000, but we can make it work.
Here's the key. You can transfer it into this next year's budget, into all these line items like I did. And if it ain't spent, it's still in your budget. It can't go back.
But
So
it's still there.
But if you build your budget off it,
Yeah,
and
but
you
I'm
don't
not,
spend it, you got it.
but I'm not taking any extra.
Mickey put.
Well, I understand it, but if everything you can build into this saves ad valorem, saves getting us a cushion of where we need to be, because we got zero money saved up. If we hurt it, we're done.
Two lines in the special road and bridge. I would like new equipment and a new vehicle.
You know, okay.
If you've got other things you need to spend money on, transfer 200,000. You both did 200,000. Guess what? 2 and 2 is 4. That's $400,000 in our budget, and instead of having $60,000 of slop, we got 460. She gets what she wants most likely, and everyone else is satisfied. They're content. They won't have what they want. I'm just telling you, this needs to be done. It's no different than figuring out that you had all this money in your ad valorem that had never been spent, and you didn't know you had it, and no one else knew. Well, this is the same thing. You've got money that the county needs to build roads with, and all you need to do is put it in this budget and build roads with it. We're not
And if
asking
you
you to
don't
put it
spend
in a general fund and
it
hope
goes
you get it back.
Well, I know.
Well,
Okay with it.
But you're saying you need to help me. I don't think I should be taking
It goes back into your account.
a special
We're
road.
gonna get rid of that because we thought that was gone anyway. So I don't know why it's still there.
What's that mine?
Leftover money.
Oh, it goes back down, so we voted it to do anything out of
No,
regular.
we
ad
voted to
valorem.
move money, but we didn't vote to get rid of that, did we?
I thought we did.
You don't have enough to operate.
Allowed to continue to go into the general fund, but we don't spend out of regular ad valorem.
I wouldn't
I'll
move
be
anything
visiting
without
with
coming back to
y'all
court.
individually.
But still.
Iron out the
No
details.
work I got planned for next year, probably will.
Let's see if we can make this thing happen.
But,
I'll expect
the
it.
text dot money that we're supposed to get, do we need to put that in a revenue and an expense?
Turn,
Win a
please.
grant.
Huh? It's just a what?
Need a second to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you. It's been productive.